Join me on my 21-day smedium challenge as we learn to steward the one thing that we cannot get back, our time. I found myself asking God for more of this and more of that. And, oh Lord, when is it going to be my time? When am I going to? But it's like God gave me everything that I needed. It's up to me to be able to actually use the resources that I have. All right, this morning I woke up with a mission, with a purpose. You see me over here, I'm trying to do what I saw on TikTok and it wasn't working. I'm trying to grow them glutes, and I'm also trying to work on my diastasis recti. I've had 3 babies and C-sections for all 3, and I have a deep core separation where it looks like you're pregnant when you're not. Also added into, I'm working on removing the spirit of gluttony from my life. I grew up eating very well, and then when I got older, got my own money, and I didn't have to listen to anybody's rules, I ate fast food. I'm done with eating fast food now. I'm tired of it. It doesn't taste good anymore. I like my home cooking better, but I do struggle with the spirit of gluttony at times. And sometimes I do overeat. It's like, oh, don't let the food go to waste. Go to the clean plate club and all these crazy mumbo jumbles. So I am working on that. I'm also on this 21-day fast. I'm praying to be healed from a spirit of pornography. I was addicted to pornography for a long time, like middle school, high school, and I don't watch porn anymore, but it has truly shaped the way that I think, and I want to be healed from it, especially for the health of my marriage. Porn messes stuff up. It makes you have these expectations that just are not true. So you see me here. I am focusing on optimizing my time. That means that I'm waking up a little bit earlier. It was daylight savings. I was up at 7 o'clock. It was pitch black. I am not used to that. I'm using the tools that God gave me. Message of the day is I was reading Jethro and Moses. And Moses, he delivered the Israelites from captivity from the Egyptians. He is this great guy. He parted the Red Sea. And after he left, and they were in the desert, he was judging and helping all these people discern God's voice for themselves. They were coming to them with their problems. He was doing that for thousands of people from dusk to dawn every single day. And Jethro, his father-in-law, saw this, and he was like, Moses, you are burning yourself out. You are handling too much. You're taking on too much responsibility that you should not take on. And this is Moses, a guy that just delivered the Israelites out of captivity. What do you mean he's taking on too much? He parted the Red Sea. He stood up to Pharaoh. But Jethro knew, and out of love for him, he said, this is too much for you. You are going to deplete yourself. Go ahead and reassign these responsibilities to other God-fearing people, and then teach the Israelites how to discern God for themselves instead of coming to you as the middleman. If you don't teach them, they'll always come to you. And what I took from that is that you got to know when to stop, when to slow down. Earlier in this video, I was trying to work out, and I was like, oh, you know what? I can lift some weights. Let me go ahead and put it up to an 80. I don't know what I was thinking, but I knew that, okay, let me go ahead and put that number right back down to a 50, and we'll go from there. You have to know when too much is way too much. And we often leave ourselves burnt out, especially for the moms. If you know, I work from home and I'm a mom. My kids don't go to daycare. My son is about to go to school, but he's not in big boy school yet. And so it's pretty common for me to get burnt out. So one, optimizing the time that God gave me instead of saying, oh, I don't have time to do this. Yes, you do. Use it. But also knowing that when enough is enough, when it is okay to step to the side and ask my husband for help. He loves to help me. And sometimes I'm too stubborn. I can do bad by myself. I don't need a man for nothing. But I need my man. He is here to help me. He gave these kids to me, and we're raising them together. And not just a spouse, but your friends, your siblings, your sisters, your brothers, your parents, people that you can actually trust. You got to know when to say, yo, I can't do it. The part about it is you're not supposed to do it alone. Man was not made to be alone. It's in Genesis. We are meant to have a community and to work together to get the things that we need to get done. I know for me, I'm okay with, hey, ask me if you need help. But I may not be the same one to ask for help. The most disciplined version of you is the best version of you. We often forget that gluttony is a sin too. When you overeat, you're making food an idol, whether it's a treat or whatever it may be. I know for me, when I was stressed out, when I was tired, instead of going to the Lord, I would go to chocolate. Chocolate was my soothing mechanism. Instead of going to the Lord, you may go to your phone so you can calm down. Instead of doing the things that you should do, which is going to the Lord for everything, we go and seek other people. You can make other people an idol as well. And back when the Israelites were in the desert, they took all their gold and burned it into a calf, a golden calf, and worshiped it. We're worshiping things that could never fulfill us. We're always looking for more because we have a pit in our heart, in our bodies, and that pit is allocated just for God. And God is a jealous God. He does not want us to worship anything else. We worship the stars. We worship things that did not create us instead of worshiping the one that did create us. I also found myself becoming ungrateful for the things that I have. I started to say, Lord, when is it going to be my turn? When am I going to do this? When am I going to do that? And it's like in due time. And I know that for my whole life, when I was 18 years old, I kept saying, oh, when am I going to get a car? When am I going to get a car? And I was rushing the process. And I did get a car at 18. I just got it a couple of months later. Or when I was ready to move out on my own, Lord, when am I going to get this apartment? When am I going to get this house? And it took time for me to get it. You would think that I would know to be patient after every time I try to rush things. God takes his time because he does not live in our time. He created time. But he comes when you need him and not necessarily when you want him. And so I may be rushing for when is my time, Lord? And I may not have the tools that will sustain me when I get to it. A lot of times that God delays us, and what we think is delaying is because he's teaching us something in different seasons. You may be going through a hard season, but stop and try to look in a different perspective and say, why am I going through this season? What am I supposed to be learning to take to the next season? I remember when we got our last apartment, I literally hated it to pieces. And I was asking, Lord, why is this happening to me? What am I supposed to be learning in this season? And he was saying gratitude, forever gratitude. And I pray that I never lose that. And for me to feel like my life was in a sense unfulfilled, I knew that I had to do something to focus on God. And the only reason it was feeling unfulfilled is because I was letting other things come before God. Off topic, y'all saw that my computer says 6:45 and my watch said 9 a.m. And the daylight savings was only supposed to be for 1 hour. Exactly. On topic. And it's not that I don't have a lot to be grateful for, because I really do. I love my family. I love my whole entire life. But I was looking at other people expecting the now, like, oh, I see them doing it, not jealous of them, but it's just like, when is it going to be my turn? And that's why it says comparison is a thief of joy. I was comparing my timeline, my journey to theirs, and our journeys are not the same for a reason. I was a teen mom. I got pregnant at 17 and I had a child at 17. And now look at me, I'm 23. I'm happily married. I have 2 more little ones, and we have a beautiful support system on both sides. I can't say the same for everybody's story. I don't even know a lot of young couples that are married with a whole bunch of kids. But my journey and their journey are completely different for a reason. My testimony and their testimony is supposed to be different. When I get it, is when I get it. And so that this journey is supposed to, for me to readjust and realign, and also to test my boundaries on that self-control as far as gluttony, but self-control as far as, can I be disciplined enough for 21 days? I knew I could not be disciplined for 75 days. I know my limits, okay? Just like Jethro was telling Moses, know your limits. I know my limits. I know, but 75 days hard is crazy. But also, it's supposed to be a lifestyle. You're not just supposed to stop. So my 21-day medium, it may go to a 35-day. And where I am adding on more responsibilities, but it's because it's a lifestyle change and not just 3 weeks and then we stop doing what we're doing. Reading that Bible, I read my Bible every day, but I wanted to make more of an effort to read more and to do more and to actually apply the word, to study, to show thyself approved, to memorize the Bible verses. I read the Bible every day, but I can't tell you what Philippians 4:13 is. No, I'm just playing. I can't. I can do all things through Christ that strengthen me. That's the one that all the athletes have. That's a little inside joke me and my husband have. But, just studying and to grow closer to God, the one that created me, to grow a stronger relationship with him. I always think about how far could I have gone in my relationship, in my walk with Christ, if I stay consistent, if I stop making excuses of, the Lord knows that I'm trying. The Lord sees my growth. And yes, don't get it wrong. I was growing. I was trying. But I could have been growing a lot further than I was if I stopped making excuses, if I held myself accountable, if I stopped cursing when I got angry and when people tried me, if I stopped overeating, if I stopped, before I got angry, pray to the Lord so that he can control my emotions. If I stop making excuses, the only thing that's holding me back from being the best version of myself, from being the most disciplined, is myself, is this flesh that I have. And a lot of times I wish that I was a slave of the Lord, that I didn't have to make these decisions. But since I do, I need to make them that is in alignment with what Christ has for my life. This walk with Christ needs a community. And I have to know when I can't handle it all by myself. And like I said, that's okay to change. We are not meant to stay the same. And as we evolve, we should be evolving closer to Christ. I love the saying that parents say, do as I say and not as I do. But Christ says, do as I say and as I do. Christ taught us through love, but he also called us out when we needed to be called out. He also stood on business for the things that needed standing. And I hope to embody the love that Christ had, but also to take his steps. When they say pick up your cross, it's not supposed to be light. And that's why I picked smedium, because I don't want to set something that's too hard out of my bounds and that I fail. And then I am looking at myself in disappointment. I have guilt over myself. And then a lot of times when we go back to our sins and we have guilt and shame, it leads us further away from God. Yes, because we sinned, but also because we feel like we can't come to him, that he's too good for us, that we have sinned again, knowing that we should have done better. But through everything that we would have gone through, he knew who we were. He knew that we would make these mistakes, and he still loves us the same. He still chose us. From the minute that you were in your mother's womb, he said, I know you, I see you, I have a purpose for you. You are my child. The creator of all of the universe wants a relationship with you. So the least that I can do is I can read my word. I can stop eating food that's not even good for me. All this recall and stuff, but honestly, we've been new eating all that chocolate, that sugar. It decays. It decays your brain. I found out that other countries, they don't call it Alzheimer's, however you want to pronounce it. They call it type 4 diabetes, type 3 diabetes, because your brain is decaying. Once all that sugar, it decays your brain and you start to lose access to memories. And I know I don't have any grandbabies. My oldest is 5 years old, but just thinking, I want to live a long life. I want to be able to see the generations. I'm not trying to have Alzheimer's where I can't even know that this is my child. I'm not trying to have obesity where they got to cut off my feet, or hypertension where I'm having a heart attack. I'm not trying to have these elements. I want to live a happy, long, and fulfilled life, because this is the life that God gave me. How can I steward myself? And it does come with taking care of my body, taking care of my mind. When your gut is not healthy, it is a direct correlation to your mind, your mental health. And I know since I had a baby, like I said, having 3 C-sections, they're cutting 3 layers of tissues, muscles. And you even have to learn how to reconnect the muscles in your stomach. It's reconnecting so you can learn how to poop again, poop properly. A lot of moms get constipated postpartum after C-sections because your body is having to rewire the nerves that were cut. So for me to be able to steward my life, I have to watch what I eat, what I watch, what I listen to, what I speak about. You become what you eat. You become what you consume, and it's not just with food, but with people, experiences. On my 21-day smedium challenge, I am giving it to Christ. Every burden that I have, I'm giving it to Christ. When I want to be in control of everything and wear way too many hats, more than it was called for me, I'm giving it to Christ. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope that it encourages you to look in that closet, look for those skeletons, and give it to Christ, because he can heal you. Love you. For the sisters that pray together, we gonna stay together.